everybody, my name is Mr. Francy and welcome back to Mr. Francy Reads. Today I'm going through my July TBR, talking all the books that I plan to read in the month of July. I plan to read a total of 12 books in July, so let's get right on in. So the first book that I plan to read in the month of July, and by the way, in case you didn't already know, I read my books in page count order, so I always start with the longest book of the month and end with the shortest one. I am currently exclusively listening to books on audio, so the page count won't always match up from longest to shortest. Instead, I'm going to be reading each book from longest duration of audiobook compared to longest page count. There's a reason for that. There are some books, especially towards the end, that in page count are longer, but the audiobook is actually shorter. So, the first book that I plan to read is this book, Call It What You Want by Bridget Kemmerer. This is a YA contemporary romance, or, well, probably just a YA contemporary. I have read Letters to the Lost and More Than We Can Tell, both by Bridget Kemmerer, and then I tried her first fantasy book in her fantasy series, and I did not like the fantasy book, but I loved her contemporaries. Letters to the Lost is still a book that is very near and dear to my heart nowadays, and I read it in 2020, and I also loved More Than We Can Tell, its companion book. So I've actually had Call It What You Want on my physical TBR for a number of years. I just haven't gotten to it yet, so one of my goals is to try and get through my physical TBR, and it's finally time to get back to another Bridget Kemmerer. We probably say it here in Australia, Kemmerer, but in America, you'd say Kemmerer, contemporary book, and I'm very, very, very excited about that. Don't know anything about my books. If you're new to the channel, I go into every book blind, so I'm not going to give you a premise, but if you'd like a premise, Goodreads is a great place to go. Just pause the video and look up the book. But yeah, as I say, this is a YA contemporary romance, so very much looking forward to this one. The next book I plan to read is this book, Crossed, by Ali Condi. This is a YA dystopian, and it is book number 2 in the Matched trilogy. So last month I picked up, I started my first 2 dystopians of the year. I have 2 dystopian series on my SAS list, and I loved the first book in that first series, but I DNF'd the first book in the second one, so I was looking for a replacement series. I wanted to replace it with another dystopian series. I came across the Matched trilogy, decided to take a risk, give it a go, and I ended up loving book 1. I gave it 4 stars. So continuing on now to this book, book number 2. The little I can tell you about this series is that we're following a girl by the name of Kesha who lives in a dystopian world where this ruling group known as the Society, they are in charge of absolutely everything that you can or cannot do, down to the most ridiculous things like what type of food you can have, how big the portion is going to be, and when you can eat it. In book 1, Ali enters into the Matched ceremony. So basically you can do this once you turn, I think it is 16, where if you want to, you can put yourself into the ring to be matched with whomever the society deems to be your soulmate, your one true love, and she ends up being matched with her best friend, which is very unusual. There are many districts in this world, and usually you are matched with someone from a different district. She's not only matched with someone from the same district, but her friend. When she goes to check out her friend's profile, because you're given a copy of their profile when you're matched with them on a device that reminds me of like an iPad, for example, she's looking at his picture, and then suddenly his picture is erased and it's replaced by a picture of someone else that she knows, and then that picture is erased and replaced back with the person she was matched with. So what the heck is going on here? It was an amazing first book. I am definitely looking forward to finding out what is going to happen in book 2. I thought that Ali Condi could have gone a little bit further with her world building, but what she did give with the world building was fantastic. So that's why I gave book 1 4 stars. And the ending to book 1, oh man, was I on the edge of my seat for that. So I am definitely looking forward to getting on to book number 2. The next book I plan to read is this book, Shutter Island by Dennis. Oh my gosh, I'm going to try and say this name. Is it Lahani? Or maybe it's the much less pretentious Lehane. I don't know. I'll know when I start listening to the audiobook. Anyway, this is a... Oh gosh, I don't even know what the age rating is. It is an adult... Well, it says mystery, which surprises me. It's... Okay, it is... It is categorized as an adult mystery fiction thriller. I picked this up fully intending for it to be a thriller, so I hope it is, because I want to read more thrillers. I read incredibly diversely, but recently found out that in the past 3 years since I started my channel, the dominating genres for me have been fantasy and cozy mystery, and I want to read from a lot more from other genres so that I can be more well rounded out. And so I picked this book because it was advertised to me as a mystery. I don't know anything about it. My copy of the book has Leonardo DiCaprio on the cover, so I guess it was turned into a movie. I don't know. I'm looking forward to it. It's a thriller. If you've read this book, spoiler free, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. No spoilers, please, but yeah, if you liked it, didn't like it, let me know. I'm looking forward to it. Speaking of looking forward to things, the next book that I plan to read is this book, The Maidens by Alex Michaelides. So in this month in June, I read The Silent Patient. I am not normally someone who jumps on the hype train. In fact, a dear friend of mine, I was having a chat with a dear friend of mine, Michelle, from Cozy Reading with Michelle recently, and there is a book that is being hyped up so much these days that I can't go a single day without reading something about it, to the point that I just don't want to read it. The hype train turns me off from wanting to experience something. But I decided to take a risk and pick up The Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides because it was a thriller, and as I say, I want to read more thrillers. I loved that book. For me, with thrillers, it's mostly a lot of misses rather than hits, and there's only one book prior to this month in June that I read that was a thriller that I loved, which was The Woman Outside My Door by Rachel Ryan. Then this month in June, I picked up 3 thrillers, and 2 of them were amazing, one of them being The Silent Patient. So Alex Michaelides had me believing in thrillers again and having faith in thrillers again, which just so much credit for Alex Michaelides for that, because I was starting to wonder if I'd find another thriller that I'd actually like. So because of that, I wanted to continue. I was so motivated to continue reading his works. From what I've heard, The Silent Patient is good. The Maidens is even better. So I loved The Silent Patient. It got an overwhelming 5 stars from me. The reveal was fantastic. So if that one's good and this one's better, best believe I'm eagerly anticipating this one. So this is an adult thriller. Again, it says adult mystery. I don't know why Goodreads is calling these books mysteries when they're thrillers, but anyway, I'm calling it a thriller. It's my channel. What are you going to do? Adult thriller. Very much eagerly anticipating this one. The next book I plan to read, I actually don't have a physical copy of yet because for some reason I've ordered it twice now, and both times that I've ordered it, they can't give me an estimated delivery date because they keep going out of stock with the book, and it's just very annoying. But we'll put a picture of the cover up on the screen for your convenience, and that is this book, Pretties by Scott Westerfeld. So this is book number 2 in the Uglies Quartet, which is my other dystopian series that I'm reading. I read Uglies this month in June, and I liked it. I'm hesitant in saying the word liked. I liked it. I loved the concept of what the book was, but I, literally speaking, wanted to follow my character and the main character. I wanted that main character to turn left, but the main character, literally speaking, kept turning right, and that was annoying me. And yet by the time we got all the way to the end of the book, the character finally turned left, and then the next 2 words were the end. So I'm very eagerly anticipating Pretties, because we're finally going where I want to go. But the main thing that I can tell you about this series is that we are following a girl whose name eludes me for the moment, but she's living in a world where when you turn 16, you go through a transformation to become pretty. And the reason why they've done this, it's said in the future, is because what they had determined in the past was that people were given preferential treatment in life owing to their looks. And so they've determined that if everyone is quote unquote pretty, looks good, then they will be, then they'll get preferential treatment for their mind, and not their looks, because everyone looks good. So when our protagonist turns 16, she is meant to go and be made pretty. Things happen. I don't want to get into spoilers. Things happen. Okay, so at the end of book 1, we're finally getting to where I want to go. I can't wait to read pretties. Sorry, I can't give you more than that, but I'm eagerly anticipating book number 2 because I was waiting this whole time to get to where we finally got at the end of the book. So let's bring on pretties. The next book that I plan to read is this book, which I also don't have a copy of, Blueberry Blunder by Amanda Flower. Talk about a blunder. I ordered this book as a pre-order on Amazon and just was not getting an estimated delivery date of this book at all. And then I found out when I looked for it again while I was waiting for that pre-order delivery date to come up, that if I ordered it again, I would have an estimated delivery date. So I cancelled the pre-order, ordered it again as not a pre-order, and it's now going to arrive on my doorstep on July 3rd. But either way, speaking of eagerly anticipating a book, this is book number, is it number 7? Oh, I'll have to check. Nope, I was off by 1. It is book number 8 in the Amish Candy Shop mystery series by Amanda Flower. If you followed me at all last year, chances are you came across a video where I was talking about a book in this series. It became my favorite series for the entire year. I read a lot of cozy mysteries last year because I was just dipping my toe into cozies, and then suddenly they became my all-time second most read genre. But I love this world. We basically follow a woman by the name of Bailey King, who is not Amish, but she moves to Amish country to take care of her grandmother and grandfather, who run a candy shop called Swissman Sweets. Her grandfather is deathly ill in book 1. Spoiler alert, doesn't make it to book 2, and so she ends up staying on at the candy shop to help her grandmother. It is not doused in Amish lore, but when a comparison needs to be made, like an Englisher, a non-Amish person, might do something this way, an Amish person might do something this way, that comparison is made. But otherwise, it very much revolves around Bailey King being an amateur sleuth trying to solve mysteries, and the cozy side revolves all around candy. It is such an amazing series. I highly recommend it, and you can see a pig on the cover because the star of the series is a pig by the name of Jethro. If you've read the series, you know what I mean. It's an adult cozy mystery. I cannot wait to get back to Amish Candy Shop. I have not read an Amish Candy Shop since the year began, so I am very excited to get on to this latest one. Oh, and for fans of Amish Candy Shop, here's a little bit of news. Amanda Flower was putting on her Facebook account about 3, 4, 5 days ago, something like that she started her next book in this series called Something Taffy. I don't remember what the first word was, but it was, again, alliteration. It was a TT title, and the second word in the title was taffy. She started book number 9. I am so excited for that one. I haven't even read book number 8. But anyway, my next book is Blueberry Blunder. Okay, I've talked about books that I'm eagerly anticipating reading this month, and to say I'm eagerly anticipating the next book that I'm going to talk to you about is an understatement. We need to have a bit of a backstory with this one. A number of years ago, I picked up a book and I was enjoying it, but the problem with this book was that I was getting distracted and there were 3 important nuggets of information that had come up that I missed that, unlike at other books, don't keep getting repeated. So if you miss them the first time, you're a bit out of the loop. Miss a second nugget, you're out of the loop even more. Miss a third nugget, you might as well give up and start again. I didn't have time to start again, so I shelved the book. This was I want to say a number of years ago, but honestly it probably was about a year ago, and I am finally picking this book up. This book has served as my own false sponsor for many videos, and now I'm finally reading it. Let's put it up on the screen. It is The Foxhole Court by Nora Sakovic. This is book number 1 in the All for the Game series. It is an adult or is it YA? No, it's YA. This is a YA LGBTIQ plus male contemporary, and I cannot wait. The little I remember is that we're following this guy who's playing a sport that I don't even remember what it's called, and I'm looking on the back of the book and I can't see what it's called. But anyway, he's playing this sport that I didn't really quite understand. Hopefully I'll understand it this time round. And he's with his team, and yeah, things go down. It was really interesting when I read it. Unfortunately, I missed too much, but cannot wait to finally give this book a second chance. If you've been following me since the first time I read this book, you know I've been waiting for the right time to pick this up again. Finally doing it in July. And when I say finally, that's an understatement, so it bears repeating. Finally picking it up in July. The next book that I plan to read I also don't have, but good news, I will have it tomorrow. And that is this book, Escape by Ian Rob Wright. This is an adult horror. I want to read, not only do I want to read more horrors, because to, again, be more well-rounded with my genres that have been lacking lately, but I have fallen in love with Ian Rob Wright. So last year I read The Housemates by Ian Rob Wright, and for those of you who don't know, long story very short, I love that book. I thought it was a standalone. Turned out to be book number 4 in the Damien-verse series. So then this year, I put the rest of the Damien-verse series, books 1, 2, and 3, on my SAS list, and I read them, and I loved them. And then I found out that Ian Rob Wright has written a ton of standalones, and I'm going to start with this one, because when I told Ian Rob Wright, I actually messaged Ian Rob Wright and thanked him for The Housemates. He recommended this one to me, so I'm now getting to this one, and I plan to read many more Ian Rob Wright's books. If you want to know what Ian Rob Wright is like as a horror author, let me tell you. If you are of the faint of heart, or if you are looking for a light horror, do not pick up Ian Rob Wright. But if you are someone who is like me, that if you pick up a horror, you want it to be an actual horror, praise Ian Rob Wright. Pick up his books. He is amazing. People crown Stephen King as the king of horror. I don't. That's just me. I crown Ian Rob Wright. If you want horrors to the umpteenth degree, pick up any Ian Rob Wright book. The guy is a credit to the horror genre, and I cannot wait to read Escape. All I know about this book is it revolves around being trapped in an escape room. I'm very excited to see how Ian Rob Wright is going to scare the pants off me in this book. The next book that I plan to read is a book that I have been eagerly anticipating for the longest time. We'll put it up on the screen and then I'll explain why. And when we put it up on the screen, you're probably already going to know why if you've followed me for long enough. It is this book, Lament at Loon Landing by Josh Lanyon. This is an adult male cozy mystery. It is book number, I don't even know, 6 in the Secrets and Scrabble series. So, here's why I've been eagerly anticipating this book for a long time. This book was meant to come out in, I think, either September or October of last year. And I have loved this cozy mystery series, Secrets and Scrabbles. We follow a man by the name of Ellery Page. And so that's unusual in and of itself because we're following a man in a cozy, where every other cozy mystery series I've read, we follow a woman. So that's different. But also he just so happens to be gay, which is also very different because we usually follow a straight woman. And in the series, we follow a gay man. I love the series. Anyway. Moving on. In October, this book was meant to come out of last year, of 2022. I went onto Josh Lanyon's website and suddenly it was updated. Coming soon in November of 2022. November became December. December became January. January became February. February became March. March became April. April became May. In late May, the ebook was released. I don't read ebooks, so I had to keep waiting. Then in either very late May or early June this month, the audiobook came out, and then finally halfway through this month in June, the physical book came out. And so the day that the physical book arrived on my doorstep, you should have seen the smile on my face. I could not stop smiling. I finally own this book. I have been looking at this cover for all those months, and I've been wanting to own this cover for so long. The cover just truly intrigues me, but I cannot wait to get back to Secrets and Scrabble. And the interesting thing about all this is, in case you weren't aware of that long delay from October all the way through to now to finally getting this book, is that book number 7 has been available all this time. So we've been just waiting on book 6. Now that I have book 6, I can read book 6, and then next month I can read book 7 and then be completely up to date. My word, is it going to be amazing to be back with Josh Lanyon and Secrets and Scrabbles. The next book that I plan to read is this book, By Your Side by Casey West. This is a young adult male-female romance, and I'm really looking forward to this one because I have read 3 Casey West romances before. P.S. I Like You, Lucky in Love, and another one that I can't remember without looking, Listen to Your Heart. And I loved all 3 of those books. I want to read more Casey West this year, so I'm going to try and fulfill my male-female romance genre with more Casey Wests as I go along throughout the course of the year. And so yeah, in July I'm going to be reading By Your Side. And very, very, very excited. I highly recommend Casey West for anyone wanting to read good YA romance. I just think she's a great author for YA romance. So yeah, there's a shout out for her. But yeah, really looking forward to reading By Your Side and many, many, many more Casey West books as I go along throughout the rest of the year. The next book I plan to read is this book, The Silver Chair by C.S. Lewis. This is book number 6 in the Chronicles of Narnia series. So after reading this book, I will only have 1 book left, and then I will have the series complete. And it's been an interesting ride so far. We are doing a buddy read of the Chronicles of Narnia over on the Discord. Link to that is in the description if you do want to come along and join us. It's been a great ride so far, and I look forward to getting to book number 6. And the final book that I plan to read in the month of July is this book, Death of a Pumpkin Carver by Lee and Hollis. The reason why I call the author Lee and Hollis is because both of those words are a pen name for a brother-sister authoring duo. So Lee is the brother's pen name and the sister's pen name being Hollis. This is book number, oh my goodness me. This is book number 8 in the Hayley Powell Food and Cocktail Mystery Series. This is another buddy read of series that I'm doing over on the Discord. Once again, link is in the description. And yeah, I have had an interesting journey with this series. The first 3 books I gave 5 stars to. Then it kind of faltered slightly for me with books 4, 5, and 6. And then book 7 that I read this month, Death of a Bacon Heiress, received 5 stars again. So I'm really hoping that Lee and Hollis can continue with their 5-star books for me. And yeah, very much looking forward to reading Death of a Pumpkin Carver. And now for everyone's game that we like to call Up, 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 Up. These are all the books that I plan to read in the month of July 2023. What books do you plan to read in the month of July 2023? Let me know in the comment section below. But in the meantime, that is where I am going to leave it, letting you all go with peace, blessings, and so much love. Please do be kind and love one another and spread your sparkling energy all throughout the world. And until next time, happy reading. Bye everyone.